When somebody ever come and say he beat hoes up, he do. He'll beat one of y'all hoes up for me. For talking shit about me. I ain't saying that he beat me up. You think I'm gonna be with a man that be beating me up?
Cassie is suing Diddy for $30 million, accusing him of rape, repeated physical abuse. The lawsuit alleges that throughout the span of their relationship, Cassie was abused and controlled, that Diddy used to ply her with drugs, repeatedly beat her to a savage degree, and force her to have sex with male prostitutes as he watched and recorded.
Cassie is suing rapper Diddy for allegedly aping her while they were together. A3USE would expose Diddy for putting hands on Cassie and also sang her throughout their 11-year relationship. There's a lot of toxicity here because Cassie did not hold back on any evidence of how messed up Diddy really is. But y'all, the situation got even worse because Diddy's current flame Young Miami is also reportedly putting her support behind Cassie, and she is now exposing Diddy for also putting hands on her as well. Listen, it looks like Diddy is going to jail because these two women are determined to take him down once and for all.
In the beginning, like the first 3.5 years, the first 4 months, he was really nice. But then after that, he started being an asshole. So like I say, like the first 3.5 years, he was like mean to me.
So when you say mean, describe it.
He was like always belittling me and always like he was like mentally, emotionally, and physically abusing me.
So it looks like Diddy's downfall is about to happen, and it looks like it's going to happen in a big way because he's being exposed for all sorts of stuff. He still has that whole situation with Tupac's murder going on and whatnot, and Cassie just sued him in court accusing him of DV and saying her while they were together, and y'all, it's really bad. The court documents even have a trigger warning on the front page. And I think that's enough to tell y'all how truly horrific the situation is now. People have always given Diddy's relationship with Cassie a side eye because of the huge power imbalance in the relationship. For one, Cassie was only 19 when Diddy was 37, and they first started dating, plus she was signed to his record label, Bad Boy Record, so he had a lot of control over her. From the very start, and according to several insiders, the relationship was not exactly mutual because Cassie didn't want to date him, but then she felt like she had to because he held her career over her head and threatened to ruin her if she didn't give in. And once they started dating, well, things immediately got toxic because he would put hands on her, torture her emotionally, and all sorts of violent things. According to the lawsuit, Diddy was violent towards her for all 10 years that they were together, and the lawsuit also alleged that he essayed Miss Venture in her own home after she tried to leave him, often punched, beat, kicked, and stomped on Miss Venture, resulting in burst lips, black eyes, and bleed, forced Miss Venture to engage in intimate acts with male SSUs while getting off on it and filming the encounters, demanded that Miss Venture to carry his firearm in her purse just to make her uncomfortable and demonstrate how dangerous he is, and introduced Miss Venture to a lifestyle of excessive alcohol and substance, and required her to procure illicit prescriptions to satisfy his own addictions. Y'all, even that is a lot. We knew that Daddy was bad, but we didn't know how bad it was. It gets even worse because the lawsuit went on to reveal that Diddy would often put his hands on Cassie in front of other people, and that these beatings were witnessed by Mr. Combs' staff and employees of Bad Boy Entertainment and Mr. Combs' related businesses, but no one dared to speak up against their frightening and ferocious boss. Cassie also revealed that Diddy started pursuing her almost immediately, even though she was in a relationship at the time, and he was also with Kim Porter. She claims that he scared off her boyfriend at the time and pretty much forced her into a relationship against her will, but who went on to claim that Diddy often left her with injuries on her face and body, and that he would then shower her with gifts and take her to the hotel where she could heal and recover, only for him to turn around and do the same thing all over again. And every time she tried to leave him, he would set people up against her to look for her. He even had people from the La Belle warning her about how Diddy would ruin her career if she didn't get back to him. She also reported that when she thought that she was finally free of him, she agreed to meet up with him for dinner, but then he forced his way into her apartment and saved her even though she repeatedly said no. The lawsuit also revealed how Diddy tricked her into using drugs and how he would manipulate her into using them even after she repeatedly told him that she was uncomfortable using them. It also reports that he was hooked to pain pills, And when his supply ran out, he forced her to get him the pain pills. Now that wasn't bad enough. She also claimed that he forced her to move out of her apartment in Law into an apartment that he rented for her because it was close to his house. He also rented her a house in Manhattan for the same reason. His control over her life was so deep that he had access to her medical records when she didn't even have access to the court documents, said on multiple occasions Mr. Combs. And Miss Ventura's personal medical records sent directly to his email address. For instance, when Miss Ventura began experiencing memory loss, potentially due to excessive drug use and/or head injuries caused by Mr. Combs' beatings as described below, her MRI results were provided directly to Mr. Combs. The Lewitt went on to tell several occasions where he put his hands on her, like the time they were on their way home after attending a party with Jay's. Mr. Combs beat Miss Ventura repeatedly in an Escalade, including by kicking and hitting her. He forced her out of the vehicle on 5th Avenue in New York City. She was eventually able to hail a cab and get to her apartment in Manhattan. There's also the time when Cassie spoke to a music manager in hopes of her furthering her career. It was just a casual conversation in the club, but Diddy got so mad that when they left the club, Mr. Combs beat Miss Ventura, pushing her into a corner of the vehicle and stomping on her face when the car arrived at Mr. Coles's wreck. Silence. Miss Ventura attempted to run away, but Mr. Combs followed her and proceeded to again kick her in the face. Miss Ventura was bleeding profusely and was ushered into Mr. Coles's home, where she began to throw up from the V incident. She also revealed that he forced her to have encounters that he refers to as freak-offs or FOSS. Basically, he would make her hire blackmail escorts with BBCs. If you know what I mean, he would then force her to get high and be intimate with the escorts while he watched. Chad got off on watching her with the men. He would also call Cassie anytime he felt like it, and once he forced her to leave in the middle of a birthday party he threw for her. According to the lawsuit, Mr. Combs always supplied Miss Ventura with copious amounts of drugs before and during the FOSS. Miss Ventura was given oxycocaine, GHB, marijuana, and alcohol in excessive amounts during FOSS, which allowed her to disassociate during these horrific encounters. It became so commonplace to get a B fluid D's in the days after food to recover from the excessive substances pushed upon her. Even worse, he would film Cassie while she was performing these acts, and he held the videos over her head for a long time. Even though she managed to delete the videos, he always had backup copies, and he would manage to recover the videos. She also claimed that he forced her to watch the videos on multiple occasions so that she knew he had total control over her life and there was no way out for her. But it gets then worse, because she also revealed how Diddy tried to kiki C. According to the lawsuit, Diddy and Cassie had split up in 2011, and she started dating QI Diddy, then forced her into another foe where he found texts and emails between her and C. Diddy got so mad that he told Cassie that he was going to hurt QE. The court documents wrote that Mr. Combs told Miss Ventura that he was going to blow up Kid C's car and that he wanted to ensure that Kid Cutie was home with his friends when it happened around that time. Kid C's car exploded in his driveway. He even put hands on one of her friends once because the friend tried to step in while Diddy was putting hands on Cassie while the friend was there. Diddy eventually paid the friend off, but it led to a strained relationship between her and Cassie. Because Cassie didn't leave Diddy, the final straw for her happened in 2018, when he forced his way into her apartment and say her, even though she reportedly told him no, she finally took steps to get away from him for good, moving out of the house. He read for her, returning the cars and stuff like that. Basu went on to say that Cassie got hooked and addicted to substances during her time with Diddy, and even after that she had to turn to substances to get rid of the horrific memories. She also had to go through months of intensive therapy to heal and move past the horror. This is all so sad, and it just breaks my heart that Cassie had to go through all that trauma. He even had the guts to make a supposedly cute post for her when they broke up in 2018. He posted a screenshot of Michael Jackson's song "The Lady in My Life" and captioned it, "If anyone sees Cassie this weekend, please tell her to listen to this song 100 times. It's the audacity for me, like that's crazy." But the silver lining in all this is there have been people steady speaking out about Diddy and his shady activities. About a year ago, Jaguar Wright had an interview where she alleged that Diddy was offing people close to him, especially that O's in Uptown Records.